Making money in 2025 is now on easy mode, and most people think that starting a business requires a revolutionary idea, specific connections, a lot of capital, but that is no longer the case thanks to AI. Today, I'm showing you a proven 5-step framework for building a money-making business on easy mode in 2025. And in this video, I'll create a product in real time with you so you can see exactly how it works. And by the end, you'll have everything that you need to get your first paying customer in a fraction of the time. I guarantee it. And by the way, I'm Mac and Cheesy. I built a 7-figure business while having a full-time job, and now I'm the COO of an 8-figure tech startup with the same investors as Airbnb and Facebook. And in the description, I put a detailed breakdown on how exactly I got here. All right, let's get into it. Step 1 is all about generating your perfect $100 million business idea with the help of AI. Finding the right idea to build on is an early make or break moment as an entrepreneur. And this process has 3 critical steps. First, you want to identify your unique skills, like what makes you you. Then you want to craft an irresistible offer based on what you can do today. And then using that, you want to find successful models that are out there. And I call this the North Star strategy. And the truth is the game has drastically changed. So what used to take months now takes hours. And by using AI, you can find something that perfectly fits your skills. Now, before we get into these 3 steps, it's important you understand the ladders of wealth creation. This is the foundation that 99% of people that want to start a business don't understand, but it's absolutely needed. And that's why a lot of people operate on difficult mode, but we want to operate on easy mode. So you have to understand it. This concept coined by Nathan Barry shows that wealth creation isn't about jumping to the end of the ladder where you're offering these crazy products, but instead it's about strategically climbing upwards through increasingly valuable versions of the same core skill. Let me quickly illustrate. If you're a web developer, you start by selling hourly work. Then you package it as a complete service, creating websites. And after that, you create reusable templates that you can use for your clients. And finally, you create a product like a Webflow template that people could buy online without any input from you. Ironically, most people start at the top of the ladder, which is selling products. And this is why people usually fail when building a business. We've all heard this person. I have a $1 million app idea. I just don't know where to start or how to build it. Usually this happens because they're trying to start at the 4th step of the ladder instead of the 1st step where they're selling their time for money. This is like trying to sprint before you crawl. And now I've gone through this exact ladder when I was building my first tech and marketing agency, making my product more and more complete over time. Okay, understanding that the ladder of wealth creation isn't this optional thing. It's the difference between being successful or wasting hundreds of hours. Now let's use AI to come up with some business ideas based on your skill set and the exact step on the ladder that you should be executing on. So here's the exact prompt to paste into ChatGPT or Claude that will map your personal skills to valuable business ideas. You can see it on the right side of the screen here where you bring in your actual skills and what your actual goals are for the business. And as I go through this, any prompt or resource that I share, I'm going to add this to a cheat sheet that you can gain access to by clicking the link in the description. If you look at this prompt, it forces you to think about what skills you have today so that you can currently execute on it. And the key here is that it doesn't require someone else's resources or talents. And if you already have an idea, that's fine. Use this prompt to validate your idea with your current skill set. I went ahead and did this for myself where I listed all my skills and I also added the exact audience that I'm trying to speak to with my offering. I'm a decently strong developer, AI expert, content creator. I'm trying to speak to 27-year-old tech professionals. It may be just to learn skills. Everyone's different, and that's why these prompts are personalized. After going back and forth with ChatGPT, I landed on a general concept that I'm going to be building out for the rest of the video. It's a free email series that teaches people how to use AI to start a business. And if you think about this offer, it works very well with my current skill set. And this offer matches with my skills perfectly, right? I've built multiple businesses from scratch. I'm an operator first. I like creating content. Let me know in the comments if you're vibing with this video. And it advances my current goal of building my target audience. And where does this sit on the ladder of wealth creation? Well, you can imagine if you're growing a email newsletter, you very easily could convert it to a digital product or sell ad space. So this would fall on step 3, where it's an easily scalable product, but requires me throughout the process. Okay, so we have the concept, but this is just the start of creating your offer. There are two more things before we get to building our landing page. The first is changing this general concept to a irresistible $100 million offer. And this is where I use custom GPTs on ChatGPT to help streamline this process. Think of custom GPTs as like having an expert consultant across the table from you, asking you the right questions so that they can get the right answers. And our goal is to create what's called a $100 million offer, which is an offer that is so valuable that anybody that sees it, they feel like they're losing money if they don't do it. So to set up a custom GPT for this, go to ChatGPT, click Explore GPTs, and search for $100 million offers. When you do this, you'll be prompted, click Create a Unique Offer. Then it's going to ask you a bunch of different questions, put in the information from that previous prompt about your business, about your skills, about what you're looking to do. This helped me land on the new offer. What was previously a free email series that teaches people how to use AI to start a business in 3 to 5 days is now Entrepreneurship on Easy Mode. Use AI to launch and validate your business in just 5 days. It's still going to be an email series, but this is the new offer statement. Yes, this is very similar to this YouTube video. This offer will be the guiding light for everything that you build out. Of course, this can change over time, but you want to get a good starting point that feels like something a customer would really want. And as part of this conversation with the custom GPT, you're going to get a full offer statement. Have this handy because we're going to use this throughout the video. We've honed in on our offer, but now we need to do something that streamlines the entire process. And this gets me to one of my Mackin mantras. Don't reinvent the wheel, change its color. The chances are that whatever idea you come up with, you're not the first person to come up with this idea. And that's a good thing, because if you are, that's probably a red flag. So if there's other people out there doing something similar successfully, it's time to find other successful models and put your unique spin on it. And this is a process of finding your North Stars. And I call this process the North Star strategy. This is the process of identifying people or businesses that you want to model your offer after. This can be anything from their website to how they market their offer. There's people out there that you can learn from. I've created a prompt to help you with your North Star research. Again, this is in the link in the description. In my research, I discovered 2 perfect North Stars for what I wanted to build. The first is Ali Abdaal's Part-Time YouTuber Academy. He has a free 7-day email course where I'll teach you how to get started with YouTube. This is a great model for the email series that I'm creating. And the second is Callaway's Virality Blueprint, which uses a very similar strategy as Ali Abdaal. And these 2 landing pages will serve as my North Star examples, as well as how they structure the actual content of the emails. And now with these North Star examples, I'm going to borrow a lot of the concepts I use from these proven strategies. And those concepts, I'm going to use my unique perspective and my skill set to make it my own offer. And trust me, this North Star strategy will save you hours and hours of time. Now, this North Star strategy is so important because these people have already figured out the solution. You can just model it after them. To recap, step 1, we've identified your business idea and crafted an irresistible offer. Then we look to see what other people are doing, and we've identified your North Stars. Don't rush through this first step. If you have to rewatch it, go ahead. Now that we've identified this idea, let's move on to step 2. Create a landing page that allows you to test your idea as quick as possible. Everyone has ideas, but this step separates the people that want to actually build something versus dreamers. And so most people get stuck in a position where they're thinking about a concept for months and they never actually act. But that is not how we roll on this channel. We're going to test things as quick as possible. And as many famous entrepreneurs have said, action produces information, and we need to act so we can learn more about this concept. But now, before we start running like a chicken with our head cut off, we need to be strategic about how we're going to test this idea. The key question is, how can I confirm real customer interest with minimal time, money, and effort? Let's apply this to what I'm building in this video. Do people want guidance on how to use AI to build a business? Is 5 days too long? And do they even want to read emails? Are people going to write it off if it's free? We don't know the answers to these until we actually test it. I think people want a product like this, but I'm not actually sure. And what I need to do is confirm actual interest before I make this robust 5-day email series. And this concept is everyone from major companies to solo entrepreneurs do. Just take a step back and think, have you ever joined the waitlist for something? Or have you ever done a pre-order? Spoiler alert, they are testing demand for a product. Of course, when you're testing this demand, you have to be able to actually execute on the product, but that's what we did in step one to make sure that you're actually ready to implement it. So this is the process of building what I call a minimum viable product, or an MVP. So this is the simplest version that allows us to test our core assumptions. For example, will someone pay for this? In most cases, this is just a process of creating a landing page with marketing copy on it to see if people book a call, subscribe, or join a waitlist. So here are the different ways that you can create a landing page, and I've ordered them from simplest to the most complex. If you look on the screen and you pause it, you'll see all these different options and details on what specific tools you can use and how long you can expect it takes to build the landing page. To summarize, your landing page could be as simple as creating a form that takes like 10 minutes to make, or building a custom landing page and writing code from scratch. For most of you, the simpler options in the option 1, 2, and 3 make the most sense, I'd say. So I would suggest creating a U-form form, beacons product, or a card single page website. I wouldn't overthink this. I've used as simple as a Calendly link or a U-form to drive thousands of dollars of sales. And I've also created robust landing pages to do the same. And a key that you have to remember is people have to get to this page somehow. And we're going to dive into this in step 3, but remember, that's actually the first step in the funnel of getting an engaged customer. They see whatever your front-facing marketing is, and then they get on this landing page. So they all want to complement, but just remember that this isn't the only thing that that person sees. For this video, I'm going to create a U-form landing page as well as a custom landing page so you can see how both vary. Now, before building anything, we need to know the actual marketing copy that's going to go on the landing page. There's a ton of ways to do this, but leveraging AI, there's another custom GPT called Landing Page Copywriter. You can use this if you'd like. It works similar to the first GPT I mentioned in step 1. But I'm just going to use a custom prompt that I created that takes in your North Star examples, as well as pulling in the offer that we established in step 1. For anything copy related, I actually prefer using Claude over ChatGPT. And after having a back and forth with Claude, I landed on some landing page copy that I really liked. Okay, great. Now let's create my landing page. First, it's going to be a U-form form, and then I'm going to create the website from scratch. My goal with this form is to create enough information that they know exactly what they're getting. So if they do sign up, they're not surprised, but also not having too many questions or too much information where it's overwhelming and they just don't sign up. So you can see the video here where I'm creating it, and now the final product. You'll see, want to launch and validate your business in just 5 days using AI. Then I talk a little bit about the course, and I even throw in my name because that establishes credibility. You can see how quick and easy this is. Now let's look at the more complex approach, building a landing page from scratch. Now, if you're not already technical, I would avoid this unless you're just trying to learn. But if you are, here's the exact tech stack that I use. You can pause the video to learn more on this. And one thing I do want to highlight, because this is something that you can integrate in a lot of the options I listed earlier for these landing pages, is a service called Hotjar. This allows you to watch people's sessions and see exactly what they do on your website. I use this on every landing page that I have, so I can see exactly what people are doing and get feedback from their sessions. Okay, and after 3 hours of work, I just created my landing page. Check it out here. Start a business in 5 days with the help of AI. This free 5-day email course will give you a blueprint on how to use AI to launch and validate your business without any technical skills. And going back to the North Star example, you'll notice that on my page, I have a breakdown of what you'll get in each day. And if you cross compare that to something like Ali Abdaal, the feature looks very similar. Some of the secrets you'll learn inside day 2, day 4, day 6. He has a different offer, but I'm using the same style that he has. And if you go to Virality Blueprint, what he has is a photo of him with some social proof. So I elected to do the exact same thing, where it's an image of me along with key social proof on why you would actually want to listen to this 5-day email. Again, these North Star examples are perfect guides to model your framework after. And we're going to get into this in step 3, but you can also leverage AI to create the necessary assets for your landing page. That could be your logo, hero images, whatever's needed. Now, is the custom landing page objectively better than the 5-minute U-form solution that I put together? Technically, yes, but it isn't needed. So in your eyes, choose the approach that matches your current skill level that you can execute on your own pretty quickly. Speed of iteration beats perfection all the time. You can always make a more complex solution. You can't get back time that you wasted building something that nobody wants. In fact, this is what Peter Levels, who has 6 businesses making over 10K a month, swears by. He only uses tools that he's already familiar with. In fact, he recently built a product with AI in under 3 hours that made over 70K a month. In fact, I made a in-depth video on how he did this, which is on my channel. You can check that out after this video. But he absolutely swears by using the tools that you're familiar with and testing quickly. Okay, so step 2 recap. You've built a landing page in hours, not months, and it costs you next to nothing. Now it's about getting real people to see your product and gauge interest. And step 3, testing demand with AI-powered vibe marketing. We need people to see the product in order for you to know if it's going to work or not. So we're going to leverage AI to help us successfully launch marketing campaigns quickly and easily. And I want you to think about getting people interested in warm and cold leads. Warm leads are people that know you. Cold leads are people that do not know you. So you can imagine the easier thing to do is to start with warm leads. A key here when testing your product idea on people you know is don't tell them it's your idea. Instead, depending on what the landing page looks like, you could say, hey, I found this product. It made me think of you. What are your thoughts? The key with this is that their judgment won't be clouded by knowing that it came from you or you're building it. And I mentioned Hotjar earlier in step 2, but this allows you to see what people actually do instead of what they say. So you can actually gauge if they're interested by seeing if they're scrolling, if they're reading, if they're actually taking the time to explore the offer. And once you share it with them, you want to be able to test if they actually like it. Do they subscribe? Do they fill out the form? And this is why I love Hotjar, because you can actually see if they're interested versus if they say they are, right? Are they reading the descriptions? Are they scrolling down? Are they an engaged viewer? So think about in your network who you could reach out to and who you can share this concept with. And I also don't want you to underestimate your social presence. Most people have 100 Instagram followers or 500 or 600. That's a lot of people. So don't be afraid to go on your Instagram story, throw a poll in to see if people are interested. And this is what I did. I went to my Instagram, I launched a poll, and everyone who filled it out said yes, they're very interested. What I could then do is DM everybody who responded to the poll and then send the link to the landing page to see if they subscribe. Think of this as a funnel, right? Everyone sees your story, certain people engage, you now know who engaged, and now you can reach out to them directly. And another secret win about posting in public is this then gets you in the mode of building. It says to yourself that I'm doing this. It's not a concept or idea that I'm just thinking of. This is a major mental shift because you go into building mode versus idea mode. Another warm lead strategy is just go through your contact book, think about people that may be interested, and if you feel comfortable, reach out to them. Okay, so that's warm leads. That's people that are in your network. Now, strategy number 2 is all about cold leads. And this is where you leverage vibe marketing. And this is a process of using AI to create ads that looks like it took thousands of dollars to make. But there's a right and wrong way to do this. Here's how you should go about it. First, find proven winners. This is a lot like the North Star example, but you want to find people that are advertising in your space. Second is you look at their winning patterns. And the third is you enhance these ideas and tweak them to be exactly what you're looking for. So let me show you exactly how I do this for my 5-day email series. First, I identified 2 successful newsletter businesses that are advertising on Facebook. The first is Morning Brew and the other is The Hustle. These are both massive brands in the space, and so these are good examples. And now why do we want to make sure that they're running ads on Facebook? Well, a lot of people don't know this, but you can actually go and look to see what ads people are running. And anyone can do this. You just have to go to this website, facebook.com/ads/library/report, click on ads library, search ads, and type in the competitor's name. And now you get a list of ads that they're currently running. And the general rule of thumb is the older the ad, the more likely it is that it's successful. And the reason being is they probably wouldn't run an ad for a long time if it wasn't making them money. So now when I'm on these ad pages, I'm looking for something that I could reproduce using AI. And I'm intentionally avoiding any videos because those are just harder to make. I'd prefer using a static graphic. And after reviewing them, I found an example that I really like from The Hustle. So I'm going to take this image and generate my own variation for my product. I download the ad image and then I bring in the image I created for the landing page. I ask it to recreate it with my branding and colors and see what happens. And after going back and forth to ChatGPT about the style, the copy, the offer, the audience I'm speaking to, I landed on an image that took me maybe 10 minutes to generate that I really love. And the best part is it is modeled after a proven ad framework from a multi-million-dollar company. Now let's create an ad from a different niche that we think could work for our product. To find some inspiration, I go to Twitter and then I search for ads using ChatGPT. I found this Twitter thread which has a matcha example that I really love, so I'm going to try and recreate this. And after having a back and forth, I'm able to generate an image that I absolutely love. Again, all these prompts and even the conversation I have with ChatGPT, I'm going to add to the cheat sheet. And now that we're this far in the video, you'll understand that the link in the description is actually the landing page that I created in step 2. So bada bing, bada boom, we have 2 ads that we can run. And in my eyes, the creative is the key when running an ad. And we just did the hard part. There are countless tutorials on how you can set up Facebook ads on YouTube and online. And I'm not going to cover setting up the actual account because it's pretty much just clicking buttons. But I linked in the description a step-by-step tutorial that I really liked. My general thought on when running ads is keep your spend low, especially to start, and just learn. You'll be able to see how much it costs to generate a lead or to convert a customer. Now, full transparency, for the product that I'm creating, I'm actually not going to go the strategy of doing cold traffic. Instead, I want people to get there from my organic social media. And so things like this YouTube video will be how I get people to go there. My goal is to build an audience, and I don't want to have to pay for ads for this product. You've identified ways that you can get people on there, whether it's warm or cold traffic. And now, congratulations. You've gone farther than probably 95% of people on this planet. And it likely took you less than 5 hours of work, literally a Sunday chilling on the couch. And so this is a massive milestone that would have taken probably months before AI. But we have 2 more steps, and these are absolutely critical. Step 4 is validating your business and fulfilling your offer. Now, validation metrics are different depending on what you're offering. If you're selling a $1 million product, of course, you shouldn't expect to get sales in the first 24 hours. Instead, you should be looking for booked calls, qualified candidates, things of that nature. And now, if you're offering a $5 to $10 product, you should probably be getting some interest pretty quickly. And so if you spend $100 on ads, let's say, and you don't get any bites, there's probably something wrong. And if there is something wrong, we'll get into that in the next step when we go through the value equation, but let's just assume that people are interested. Now it's all about fulfillment, and products are different, but I'm going to give you 2 mental frameworks that are absolutely critical. The first fulfillment rule is do things that don't scale. This principle is coined by legendary investor Paul Graham. And the truth is, it is the secret weapon for almost every billion-dollar business that's out there. The core thing is don't worry about something that doesn't scale. For example, in your mind, you might be thinking, oh, I couldn't do this for 100 customers. Who cares? You only have 1. If that. Do things that don't scale. In my experience, one thing that I did for my marketing agency is I would hop on calls individually with every creator I would work with, and in real time, I would provide them feedback about how they're creating their content. Is this something I could do with 1 million content creators? No. But did it help me maintain relationships with my customers and build a successful business? Yes. And currently at IYK, the business that I'm building, we'll hop on calls with our customers and have one-on-one conversations just to learn more about the product. And fulfillment rule number 2, use AI as much as possible without downgrading your product. In today's world, if you're not exploring and leveraging AI, then you're falling behind. And if you're building a business from scratch from a fulfillment perspective, you have to think about how you can use it because that will allow you to set the foundation to really grow. Okay, so let's talk about the product I'm building, this 5-day email series. In terms of doing things that don't scale, I'm actually offering anybody who finishes the 5-day email series to ask me questions directly. This doesn't scale because I can't answer hundreds of thousands of questions, but I'm not worried about that. Ideally, this gets me to have conversations with the people that are most engaged with the product so I can learn about what they like, and also they can pick my brain directly. It's a win-win. And now how do I plan on leveraging AI? Well, the 2 North Star examples that I'm using, they're both email series. So what I did is I subscribed to both of them, and I'm seeing how they structure their information. Using this as a data set along with the script for this video, because you'll notice that this email series will probably look a lot like this. I can combine the 2 of these things and create something that's probably pretty good very quickly. And frankly, I'm really not worried about the execution. The product will be strong. I'm just more concerned about validation. To recap step 4, you've identified that people are interested and now it's about fulfilling. It's critical that you do things that both don't scale, as well as think about how you can use AI to help you build the business. And after step 4, this brings us to step 5 that every single business has to go through. This is iterating and improving your business model using the value equation. Almost every successful business ever has had to tweak or change their offer to continue to be successful or to become successful. Netflix first shipped people DVDs, Amazon first sold books. And think back to when Thomas Edison was trying to invent the light bulb. I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. And so if your first concept doesn't necessarily work, congratulations. You got to this step 100 times faster than most people, because most times they stay in their head or it takes them months or years to figure this out. Instead, for you, it took you a couple of days. And now even if your initial offer succeeds or it doesn't really matter because this step is needed. Living in the free economy, you have competitors and people in the space who will challenge what you're building. For example, my marketing agency, we help people with short form content when it first came out. We were one of the first agencies to do this, but very quickly there were a ton of other agencies that did the exact same. And as a result, that impacted our pricing power and we had to tweak the business. So you have to be ready to adjust your offer. And so this is a process of understanding the value equation and creating a $100 million offer that we mentioned in step 1. So now what is the value equation? Well, the value your business, product, or offer provides is a combination of a dream outcome, what will happen, perceived likelihood of achievement, how likely it will happen, time delay, how quickly it will happen, and effort and sacrifice, how much work is required to make it happen. And so you can change the value of your offer by making it seem more achievable or making it easier to do. Each one of these values you can tweak to make it more valuable. And there's really straightforward ways to do this. Here's a prompt. Analyze this landing page. With Alex Ramosie's value equation in mind, how can I improve it? And it will give you actionable feedback on how you can improve your offer. For example, if you look at my landing page, I could probably use testimonials or success stories about this product. This would increase the perceived likelihood of achievement for anybody who lands on this page because they've seen other people have done it. Now, the key is you cannot get discouraged if it doesn't work at first, because each time you test something, you're going to learn as part of the process. And so that's my 5-step framework on building a business and making money in 2025 on easy mode. This process compresses months of time into hours, and it will give you a massive advantage if you follow these steps directly. Now, my challenge to you is you've watched this video, now go execute. Start doing. In fact, if you share a link of the product that you created, I'll go in, review it, and provide some feedback in the comments. Now, if you like this video, you're going to love this video about how I walk through step by step exactly how Peter Levels created an app in under 3 hours, which went on to make over $70K a month in a matter of weeks. The process is pretty crazy, so go check that out. I'll see you in the next one. Let's get it.